Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy, and I forgot my lab coat once again. Excuse me for just a moment. This does make it official, doesn't it? Don't tell anyone that this isn't really a lab coat. It's my husband's shirt. Yeah, good. But if you roll up the sleeves and you kind of push them up a little bit, and you do this, and you move your mic. And then you clip this to here, which is nice because it's a lapel mic, so it should go on your lapel. And all of a sudden, we're looking sort of official, aren't we? If we can button the buttons. Now, my last experiment, if you missed it, I took out the cookie dough out of Ben & Jerry's cookie dough ice cream and baked it to see if they would bake up as cookies. And then I re-churned the ice cream that I melted and made it back into ice cream, and then I proceeded to make little ice cream sandwiches. So much fun and so absolutely ridiculous. Now, in response to that video, many of you chimed in the comments below that I should do a similar experiment with the brownie batter. Now, I haven't even tasted this flavor before, although I am familiar with it. I saw it at the supermarket. It has a core of brownie batter. I'm going to attempt to remove the batter, place it in a pan, and give it a good bake and see if I can actually get brownies from the brownie batter. I'm a little skeptical. My instincts tell me that it's not actually batter, that it's some sort of, sweet kind of fudgy thing, but we won't know till we try it, right? Okay, let me go grab the ice creams. Excuse me. Diapra. 1, 2, 3. Boop, 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 boop. I got 3 pints of the brownie batter core. This is chocolate and vanilla ice creams with fudge brownies and brownie batter core. So there's actually fudge brownie in the ice cream as well, but through the middle of this ice cream is a core of brownie batter. That's what I'm going to attempt to separate and bake up. So what I'm going to do first is cut this right in half because I love those what's inside videos. I'm going to do that. I've always dreamed of doing that. You know when they show you the cross section and you're like, thank you, that was very satisfying. That looks like the cross section of the center of the earth. I'm gonna use my serrated knife, I think, or maybe a cleaver, or maybe just a really sharp chef's knife, which I should hone, because sharp knife is a good knife. Ready? Dun, 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 dun. Not as gorgeous as they show you, is it? Let's clean up the vanilla a little. There we go. Let's just go ahead and taste everything. Let's try some of the chocolate. I love chocolate ice cream. Classic. It has a slightly sticky texture to it, which I find to be signature of Ben & Jerry's. Kind of a little bit of a chew and stretch to their ice creams. And their little brownie chunks in there, which are cooked brownie pieces. Eating with a butter knife, come on. The brownie pieces are very sweet, and those are also chewy as well. But nice little bit of texture in there, kind of gummy, like that. Let's try the vanilla. At first, I thought it tasted like peanut butter. Oh, but no, now that I have a bigger scoop, it's definitely vanilla. And we also have brownie chunks in here as well. The brownie pieces are interesting. They're not very cakey. They're more kind of gummy and chewy, although the flavor is very brownie-ish. Now let's try some with the brownie core. Oh, it's like a more solid version of chocolate fudge. You get that chocolatey sweetness in there. but the texture is more kind of taffy-like, but that same flavor of chocolate fudge. Very, very sweet, chocolatey. I love chocolate fudge. And this, to me, is a good representation of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. They're all about putting things with the ice cream. All kinds of little goodies, different textures, but it's very kind of concentrated with other stuff. It's not just the ice cream, it's about the accompaniments with it. This is a great example. You've got the chewy brownie pieces in there, and there's a lot of them. You've got two types of ice cream, and you've got this kind of fudgy brownie core. Now, I have to say, I'm kind of skeptical of how well this is going to bake up because it tastes so much like chocolate fudge. I'm thinking this might just be a more thickened version of chocolate fudge, and this may not bake up as brownie at all. So I think what I'm going to do is just use a spoon and scrape out as much of the batter as possible. Just right out of the middle. Okay, yes. So a little bit more on this side. So when I look this up on the internet and on YouTube, there has not been a video or a blog post made about this, so yeah, no other experience to base my efforts off of. And I'm going to place it here in an effort to kind of drain some of that excess ice cream off. Here's another brownie batter. This time I think I'm going to just use a longer spoon and see if I can scoop it out that way. So in the picture they show a very clear core, but when you open this, as you can see, it is not clear and distinct as they show it here. That is the magic of food photography. Like the other batch, the core is not really centered, so I got to find out which direction it's in. Yep. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So I've got myself a little silicone mold here. I thought it'd be great to make square brownies if at all possible. Fill this tray. I just want to have enough for at least one brownie. You know, when you're baking cakes and stuff and they tell you not to overfill the pan, well, I'm going to fill this pan all the way up because I don't think this has any eggs in it. And brownies typically are made with lots of eggs. It's what gives it that richness, but it also gives that kind of slight leavening. Kind of lightens brownies a little bit, although brownies can be quite dense. I'm going to fill this right up. Now I'm going to pop my little mini brownie into a preheated 350-degree oven and bake this for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or until I poke it with a toothpick and it has a few crumbs. There it is. Alrighty, my lovelies, I am back, and here is my brownie. So I baked this for 25 minutes, and initially I thought things were looking good. The top was beginning to set. I thought it was pulling away from the sides a bit, and I said, oh my gosh, this might actually work. Well, came back 10 minutes later, and I saw the batter kind of bubbling and bubbling and bubbling, and it didn't look like anything was really setting. In fact, it didn't seem like there was any kind of flour in this batter to make this kind of setup. It just seemed like it was like a syrup or a hot fudge kind of just boiling away. I repeatedly checked this with a toothpick and nothing was setting. So after 25 minutes, I let this cool at room temperature, and then I placed it in the refrigerator to allow it to cool completely, because if you've ever made brownies before, you know that brownies taste best when they are completely cooled. They lose any of that kind of eggy flavor. In fact, I love brownies the next day. If you're making brownies from scratch, that is. So now that this is completely cooled, it does look a bit brownie-like. I'm getting some of this kind of cakiness around the edges, but the middle looks pretty wet. Well, anyways, let's see if we can unmold this. So I'm gonna use this little offset spatula here and kind of go around the edges. Turning the silicone mold inside out a little bit, and it has set up a little. Wow, this kind of worked. I have successfully extricated my brownie out of the pan, and it's mostly a brownie, I think. It is a square. It looks very, very fudgy. Now let's give this a taste. Oh, look at this. So, this did not set up too much. Itadakimasu. It actually tastes pretty good. It tastes a lot like a brownie. It actually surprisingly has some buttery flavor in it. The texture is definitely much more pudding-like than brownie-like, but let's try a corner and see if that makes any difference. Not really. The edges have just the slightest little bit of crispness right here, so the corner piece has a little bit more texture. But the general overall texture is very, very soft and puddingy and cool and rich and chocolatey and very brownie-like in flavor, just not brownie-like in texture. If you notice here, there's no cakey-like texture at all. I wonder if this even has any flour in it. Perhaps this is maybe like cornstarch and chocolate butter flavor and maybe some oils in here, because this is not acting like true brownie batter or cake batter. Now, I noticed one corner here was a little bit more set up, and I suspect the reason why it is that there is a brownie chunk in here, right here. Let's give that a go. Now, that was the first bite I had that actually had some chew to it, some substance, and it was because there was a cooked piece of brownie in the corner of there. So there was a little bit of caramelization, a little bit of texture, a little bit of that sticky chewiness that you taste when you're eating the ice cream itself. There you have it, the results of the brownie core baking, and indeed it formed kind of a brownie, but I wouldn't call this a success by any means. I did bake it, so you didn't have to, but know that it is delicious both in its baked form as it is in its enrobed in chocolate and vanilla ice cream form as well. Alrighty, thank you so much for joining me for another Emmy experiment. Let me know down in the comments below if there are any other kitchen experiments you'd like me to test out or try. Thanks again for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I hope you guys learned something. Please share this video with your friends. Follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! Oh my gosh, I've almost eaten this entire thing. Chocolate.